It's time for NRCS Partyline today for your, Thursday, October the 1st, 2020. NRCS Partyline brought to you by Wimmer Optician St. Cloud, Atlas Family Chiropractic of Waite Park. My name is Brad Melke. Good morning. Hi, today at 49. It's 43 right now. It's cloudy. We will see clouds throughout the day today. Maybe some isolated rain showers, kind of like yesterday, popping up every so often. Otherwise, clouds. Down to 29 beautiful degrees tonight. Partly cloudy. 47 tomorrow, partly cloudy. And then by tomorrow night, down to 33. And clouds in the weekend. Upper 40s for Saturday. Could see some mixed precipitation.
Yikes.
Changing to all rain on Saturday. And then Sunday, partly cloudy and 50. So, oh yeah. Welcome to instant fall, I guess. October the 1st right now. With us in studio, that golden-toned voice you just heard is Dennis Fuchs, administrator with the Stearns County Soil and Water Conservation District. And then it's Chris Hogge over there, district conservationist, NRCS. Oh, I'm kidding, Chris.
Oh, be nice to that Iowa kid.
I'm kidding.
We pick on him so much already.
And here today, I took the time for all you folks just to let you all know that I took the time today, got dressed, and I put on my Iowa State sweatshirt just to share. Brand new. Wife just purchased it a couple of weeks ago. I saved it to bring it into the office for a day when I was going to the radio station with Dennis to show Iowa State. We're here to teach you what we can.
Look at that pride. Look at that pride right there.
Yeah, right? I didn't even notice it. I told Chris this morning, you should have stuck your chest out. And he goes, I did.
Oh, man.
It's going to be a rough morning, I can see already.
Okay, so what's going on, Brad?
I was going to ask you the same question.
Okay, well, I want to talk a little bit to your listeners about the Minnesota Woodland Owner Weekend. And this has been turned into a virtual event. And when Chris and I were driving through the Collegeville area this morning on the way from Waite Park to Albany, oh my gosh, these fall colors are approaching peak. It's just beautiful out there. I know the weather isn't that nice, but we've got a lot of landowners in Stearns County and in central Minnesota that have woodlots, and they're probably wondering what's the best way to manage it. Well, there's this virtual Woodland Owner Weekend, and it's actually going to be condensed to Saturday, and you can register online. You can do the actual search for Minnesota Woodland Owner Weekend, and it'll pop up and you can register. Or if you'd like me to give you the actual link, I can give you that for you folks that have a pen in your hand. You can write this down. It's csbsju.edu, and then you got the / if you hold your left hand up and point to your ear, yeah, that's / outdoor U, all one word, outdoor U. And that'll get you into the registration component. It's $40. So what they're going to do is they're going to have some of this pre-recorded. Oh, hang on a second, listeners. Just wait. We got a question.
Is that outdoor Y-O-U or outdoor with the letter U?
It's OUTDOORU.
Oh, see, I would have messed that up there. Okay.
Yeah, good question. Thank you very much. So the link is csbsju.edu / outdoor U, and that's just the letter U.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You bet.
So I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the keynote speakers and other folks that are going to be sharing information with folks that are registered. And like I said, we've got over 100,000 acres of woodlands in Stearns County, and it's just a great opportunity to learn more about it. And we've got Lee Freilich with the Conservation of Minnesota Big Woods. He's going to be talking about, he's actually with the University of Minnesota. He's going to be talking about conservation of Minnesota Big Woods. And Minnesota Big Woods are highly fragmented, and many remnants also have invasive species such as earthworms and buckthorn, and high deer populations, which for a deer hunter is good, but we also need to manage those populations. These problems lead to the question, can all of the native species survive on a small fraction of the original area? Examine how to quantify this problem and discuss potential solutions for the case of native plant species, which provide the base of ecosystem function. And Lee is director of the University of Minnesota Center for Forest Ecology. He received his PhD in forest ecology from the University of Minnesota, or I should say the University of Wisconsin-Madison in 1986. And he's done a ton of publications, over 150 publications, and co-authored many of these, over 240 publications he's co-authored, and he's done work with folks from 23 countries. So he's really got a broad base of knowledge that he's going to discuss. And we start looking at the ecosystem functions of our woodlands and how we can maintain our native populations with all the invasive stresses from buckthorn and earthworms. Yeah, there's actually earthworms out there that move in and eat all of the forest litter and then open yourself up for a lot of erosion and a lot of other problems associated with that. Another keynote speaker is going to be Doug Ptolemy, and he's going to talk about nature's best hope. He's going to talk about recent headlines about global insect declines and the impending extinction of 1 million species worldwide and 3 billion fewer birds in North America. And that's a bleak reality check about how ineffective our current landscape designs have been at sustaining the plants and animals that sustain us. Such losses are not an option if we wish to continue our current standard of living on planet Earth. The good news is that none of this is inevitable. Ptolemy will discuss simple steps that each of us can and must take to reverse declining biodiversity, and will explain why we ourselves are nature's best hope. Doug is a professor in the Department of Entomology and Wildlife and Ecology at the University of Delaware, and he's authored 102 research publications and has taught insect-related courses for 40 years. So there again, we've got another very knowledgeable person sharing information with folks that would like to get registered. There's also going to be some concurrent sessions and highlights on presented to folks that are registered, and these include choosing the best trees to plant. That's going to be Eli Sagar, with program manager with the University of Minnesota Sustainable Forest Education Cooperative. Another talk is going to be Know Your Land Management Decisions. That'll be Brian Huberty with the Minnesota Forestry Association. Encouraging Native Species and Controlling Invasive Plants. That'll be Cheryl Culbreth with Landscape Restorations. And we've got Providing for Pollinators in Your Woodlands. We got Sarah Foltz Jordan. She's a senior pollinator conservation specialist. And then we also have one of our staff persons, Ryan Rostein, our farm biologist, a habitat specialist with the Stearns County Saltwater Conservation District, talking about chronic wasting disease, separating fact from fiction. So if you'd like to learn a little bit more about chronic wasting in the deer population and that devastating disease, get registered. Another talk that's going to get presented is Managing Your Woods with Emerald Ash Borer. As you know, emerald ash borer has been identified here in central Minnesota and is starting to take out our ash trees. And Matt Russell, associate professor with the University of Minnesota Department of Forest Resources, is going to be discussing that topic. And then Andy McGuire is going to talk about financial assistance programs for Minnesota woodland owners. That would be nice to know if you got a major problem on your woodland lot that you'd like to address. He'll present some ideas. And we also have some funds available through our office through the Environmental Quality Incentive Program.
Yep. We've been looking at starting a forestry program with producers on small acreage sites. We've been working with getting some information out on how to manage buckthorn and Siberian elm and ways to address that. And so we're looking forward to working with producers on getting that stuff kind of managed and opening up your forests or your acreages.
So a couple other speakers that will wrap up the informational woodlands owner weekend is Randy Schindel with the Cooperative Management Foresters, Minnesota DNR. He's going to talk about wild edible plants that might be on your property. And Gary Wyatt, he's with the University of Minnesota, or I should say, yes, the University of Minnesota Department of Forest Resources. He's an extension educator, and he's going to talk about herbicides used to control unwanted plants. And then finally, highlights of the Minnesota forest products industry. We got Kristen Bergstrand with the timber utilization and market consultant with the DNR. She'll be wrapping up.
And Dennis, let's do a review after we get back from markets. I got to take a quick break. So
sounds good. Thank you.
We'll update you on the Woodlands Owner Weekend coming up right after this. News, weather, markets, all up next. More Answers Partyline, visiting with our guests this morning. It's Dennis Fuchs, Administrator with the Stearns County Soil and Water Conservation District, and Chris Hogge, District Conservationist from the Natural Resources Conservation Service. We're winding up the topic of the Minnesota Woodlands Owner Weekend. Let's do a little recap, Dennis.
Yeah, so that's going on right now. They were hoping to get folks out and about, but they've taken it virtually. So in order to participate, you need to get registered, and you can do that online. I'll repeat the login here. It's the CSB SJU, that's called St. Benedict's, I'm sorry, I can't even pronounce that, St. John's University, EDU. Let me start all over again. Geez, your listeners
Take two.
Your listeners are going like, oh my God, what am I writing down here? Okay, I'm going to just string this all out in one phrase. CSBSJU.edu/outdoor U. That's it. And the U is just the letter U. So don't write YOU, just U. Or you can just do a search for Minnesota Woodland Owner Weekend, and it'll pop up too. That's what I did this morning, and that worked fine. But it's $40 to get on, and you can register now, and you can already start accessing some of the materials that are available. And it'd be just a great opportunity to learn more about managing your woodland lots and doing a better job. And if you do have problems like Chris was talking about earlier, there are financial programs available. We have technical assistance through our office. The DNR also provides technical assistance in woodland management, and we're here to help. So check it out. And if you got any questions, give us a call at our office, 320-251-7800. Extension 3. Chris, you want to talk? Hey, Chris, I just want to say Happy New Fiscal Year.
Exactly. We just ended our fiscal year for 2020, and we are now starting today is the first day of 2021. So it's a breather for us for a week or so. So it was a good year. We were very successful in...
I just want to let listeners know. So the federal government, their new fiscal year starts today, October 1st. In the state of Minnesota, their new fiscal year starts July 1. So we had our fiscal year celebration a few months ago. So I love a party, and Oktoberfest. It's a great time for a new fiscal year there, Chris. Take it away.
Yeah, and we had a really good year this year. We had, on the team, we did 54 contracts, and we were able to utilize somewhere around $4.6 million in the 6 counties to help producers and landowners address resource concerns, all the way from manure storage to high tunnels and small pastures. We haven't done any timbers yet, but we're looking to open that program up to do some forestry management, and I have some staff that are interested in doing some sort of wetland type restoration projects. So we're looking to expand on those types of things for the next year.
So, Chris, when you say high tunnel, is that for trains to move through an area where they run these 3 high tunnels, or what is a high tunnel?
I'm sorry, I made an assumption that everybody was on my page. I should bring it to Dennis's level here. So, sorry about that. High tunnel is the same thing as basically a greenhouse. It's usually 2,080 for the square footage, and we have cost assistance up to $10,000 to have those established on your property or your acreage. So those are all things that we worked with last year. With people all the way from Stearns County all the way down into Hennepin. So we have a lot of opportunities to work with folks over the next year, and we're really looking to expand out on a couple of different programs and really get to working with producers. And part of that working with producers that we're looking to do is we are kind of refocusing or reworking our planning process here in Stearns County and on the Waite Park customer service team. And part of what we do is the producer has always come to the office or contacted office and suggested or had a resource concern they wanted to address. And so they talk to staff, and then we go out and basically do the review. This year, we're going to still follow kind of the same opening. So if you have any resource concerns, please feel free to contact the office or any of the staff, and we'll get people out there to look at it. But as we come out to visit you, we're looking to start working with the Minnesota Ag Water Quality Certification process as part of the planning process. And that's just going to help us better identify your resource concerns and help develop a better plan. And that plan will basically transition you into opportunities for multiple funding, because there's a lot of different funding. Federal dollars are not the only dollars out there to help a producer with resource concerns. There's state funds, and then we also have special funds. There's a lot of different special grants that the SWCD has available to put in a lot of different conservation practices. We have One Watershed, One Plan, and we have also EQIP funds and CSP, which is Conservation Stewardship Program. So there's a lot of different available funds. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to meet with producers out in the field, basically assess the entire farm, kind of following the Minnesota Ag Water Quality Certification process, and then pull that into working with arranging funding for what items you have that, could need to be addressed. So that's kind of what we're doing as we move forward for the next year. So as you're going through your harvest and you're out in the field, you should be aware for areas that maybe aren't producing like you think they should. And maybe those are opportunities for things like CRP or wetland restorations or just a pollinator habitat. So those are just kind of places that you need to, when you're driving around, when you're harvesting, if you have a place where your combine just kind of rocks through, a little more than what you'd like it to rock through, and where it's kind of washing or eroding, maybe that's time you need to give the office a phone call, and we can have some people come out and we can look at and see what we can do to address those sites. And we have a lot of different practices like grass waterways and 638s, which would be a water and sediment control structure or a basin that would help with that erosion or that washing. So those are just, we're just looking to, the whole goal is to be more mobile and be out in the community working with producers on the farm and get out of the office, because it's just, that's where the USDA and NRCS that's where our bread and butter is with the producers out in the field. So we're going to try to get back into that type of a process when we're doing our conservation planning. And then I guess I'm going to throw one in here for jobs. We do have some job openings that are coming open for the USDA in Minnesota, and they should be published on the USDA website. It will be probably a number of soil compositions, and we will have soil contact positions that are going to be advertised. And if you want to look for those positions, you can go to usdajobs.gov, and you can find those positions listed there. You will have to start your own account and to create your resume and to apply for the positions. And if you ever have any questions or concerns when you're trying to do that, please feel free to call me at the office, and I will be more than happy to assist you in getting that done.
Will the funding for this fiscal year be comparable as compared to this past fiscal year for projects?
It should be. They are changing the way the funding is being allocated throughout the state. So there's going to be, of course, state funds for some of the bigger projects like the ag waste, or ag storage, manure storage type projects. And then there's some of it that's going to move down to the area office which the area office will manage those dollars. And then the one thing that's been a huge change is they're actually going to have dollars down to the team level. So our Waite Park customer service team, which includes Stearns, Wright, Benton, Anoka, Sherburne, and Hennepin, will have a set amount of dollars to basically utilize for all the programs that or for the EQIP program itself. So we'll have local dollars that we can utilize for a lot of different practices here in this area.
Will the one watershed, one water plant, or one watershed, one water? How's it?
One watershed, one
watershed, one plan.
Thank you.
Will that change as far as what you will be doing with projects, or how that will affect what your responsibilities will be?
What one watershed, one plan does is it allows us to go after specific funds for that particular watershed. Like the North Fork of the Crow River has one watershed, one plan funds to it, and we can actually... Well, we did this last year. We actually took a couple of contracts or a couple of applications that were in the general fund and moved them over, and were able to fund them through the one watershed, one plan funds. And that opened up dollars for the rest of the area and the rest of the state to be able to utilize for practices with the general EQIP dollars.
So when Chris is talking about the one watershed, one plan, he's coming at it from a different angle than my thinking. He's talking about the Regional Conservation Partnership Program, the RCPP.
Yep.
So those are federal funds that are tied to the One Watershed, One Plan planning process. And the plans that have been completed, there's been several in Minnesota, quite a few actually. And locally, the North Fork of the Crow watershed is not the watershed district, not the North Fork or the Middle Fork, but it's the whole watershed, North Fork of the Crow. There is a planning process associated with that and state funds associated with that through the Clean Water Fund legacy. And we're also working on the SOC, One Watershed, One Plan, which should be open for public comment sometime this month. And then we'll have a 60-day review period. But as far as RCPP for One Watershed, One Plans, that's where we're bringing in additional federal dollars to help the state dollars go farther to address priority and targeted resource concerns in those watersheds.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Thank you, Dennis. I was wrong.
No, that's fine.
Confused the two. So, yes, and that's something that a lot of opportunities will arise from being able to pull in those extra dollars, because they are specific for that watershed. So if you're in that watershed and you have projects, you have dollars there with the RCPP EQIP. It's already there.
And you asked Brad a question if the funding is going to be the same for EQIP last year versus this year. As far as state funds with the Clean Water Legacy, we're going to see a slight reduction, because that's based on sales tax and the amount of stuff getting sold, and a portion of that sales tax goes to the Clean Water Fund, the Legacy Fund, and that goes back into the conservation projects. Well, because of the pandemic, we're going to see a slight reduction, 5-10%, maybe more, on those funds coming back to central Minnesota. So we are going to see a bit of a reduction there, but we still should have ample funds to solve some resource concerns.
Okay. Listener wants to know, are there dollars available for the program regarding storage projects for manure and or manure piles?
That'd be manure storage,
yes.
Manure management. Yeah.
Yeah, we have EQIP funds, and we would be more than happy to work with whoever called in. They call in?
They must have, yeah.
Yeah, whoever called in, feel free to call the office, and we're more than happy to work with you. It's usually a multi-year project. We usually, what the agency likes to, or what Stearns County likes to do, is have shovel-ready type projects. So that's kind of what we look for, is to work. It's a multi-year. We work with you for the first year to get everything kind of lined up and set up, and then the second year we get the funding. So that's kind of the way that way we guarantee we got the right project and everything's ready to go.
Yeah, so this is a great question by a listener. It kind of goes right into what you've been talking about, Chris. So
Correct.
this person would come into the office. We'd go out and do some conservation planning.
Can they come into the office yet?
Oh, yeah, they'd call us.
Okay.
And we would come out to the field.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
sorry, that I just get so used to saying that, Brad. Thank you. Gosh, man, you're awesome.
Thanks.
So
Thanks.
we'd get out in the field and work with this person and do the conservation planning, and then we'd do also the Minnesota Ag Water Quality Certification Program assessment, which includes nutrient, pest, tillage, irrigation if you have irrigation, and drainage if you have tile drainage. We'd assess your farm to see how well you score, and we'd identify any areas where you have deficiencies, and that's crop by crop, field by field analysis. And then we'd also look at your non-cropped area and take a look if there's a room for opportunity for pollinators or wildlife. So it's going to be a little bit more than just coming in and getting a manure storage, getting a manure pit installed. We're trying to do this to also enhance your score. There's a very competitive process, and we really need to have our farmers here in central Minnesota score better than everybody across the Midwest. In order to do that, we need to address more resource concerns and do a better job of conservation planning. So that's what Chris was talking about. We're doing more of that in Stearns County because we want to be number one. We like being number one. We're the number one ag county in the state of Minnesota, and we want to be number one for a long time.
That's exactly the way it is. For the gentleman,
Go first.
For the caller who called in, the deadline for equip applications is going to be November 20th of this year. So if you have any resource concerns that you want to look at, please do stop into the please call, and we will come out to the field and we will meet with you to review any of the applications that we receive.
Yeah, just a reminder to listeners, if you do want to give our office a call and line up a site visit, our phone number once again is 320-251-7800, extension 3. And I hope I said that slowly enough. I've got people that leave me a number and it's like, oh my God, what was that? And you got to listen to it about 6 times before you get every number of that call. So also we're online. You can submit questions to us. Just do a Google search for Stearns SWCD and we'll pop up. And there's a way you can submit a question there and or ask for assistance. And there's also the phone numbers and all of the email addresses for all of the staff, including Chris's staff and my staff in the office are available there. So if there's a specific question that you wanted to ask Jason Selva, because you know he does CRP, all of that information is on our website. So we just want to make sure that, through a pandemic, it's not as easy getting, going to the office and talking to us because the office is closed right now. But we are still available to help. So just don't be afraid to give us a call or hit our website and reach out to us.
Has the pandemic affected the time frame of getting the projects underway, or is that
not really?
Not
I
necessarily.
don't think. Chris, what do you think?
No, we've been working with producers. Actually, the pandemic really didn't cause us much of an issue because as far as agency-wide NRCS, and we were kind of already prepared for telework type of a setup. And last year we went through our office and we basically put all of our active contracts were all scanned and put digital. So really we didn't even have hardly a bump on the radar. It took a little more communication between staff themselves, and it was kind of a transition with producers we were working with because we couldn't just have them come into the office to sign paperwork. We had to send it out by email, or we had to visit them out in the field, which is kind of how this whole planning process kind of got developed. Is we can go out to the field and we can go out and plan with a producer. And so I went out and I made a request for everybody to have cell phones on my staff, so they can take their laptops and use their cell phone as a hotspot, and they can do planning back on the kitchen table. It's not the paper and pen like it used to be with maps and crayons and color pencils. It's now we're using laptops and ArcGIS, and I think it will be very successful to get us back into the field with a producer where we need to be.
One thing, I know we're almost approaching the end of the show here, Brad, but I wanted to share with your listeners that we still have some time to get some cover crops planted. If you're interested, you need to visit with our office, call our office before you do any planting to make sure we get you set up properly, and if you're going to be trying to pursue any grant funding. And we do have grant funds to offset the cost of establishing cover crops. At this time of the year, now October 1st, basically the only viable cover crop that you want to put out there after corn or soybean harvest would be cereal rye, which you can get out there, and that would overwinter and start greening up in the spring. And that just provides a really nice cover out there to protect our soil and improve your soil health out there. So if you're interested, don't be afraid to give us a holler. We still got some time. I know it's getting short here, but don't be afraid to give our office a call, 320-251-7800. Extension 3, and we can follow up with a site visit and try to get that done yet this year. Or if it gets to be too late this year, we can start planning for next year already. Because harvest is full speed ahead. It looks like most of the corn silage is off. A lot of the soybeans are coming off right now. Maybe not right now because it's raining out or drizzling, but as soon as it dries up again, they're going to be hitting full speed ahead. And then I just want to remind the farmers out there, if there's any way that you can reduce the amount of tillage this fall, just slow down a little bit, save that fuel, put it toward beer, and just you don't need to be doing all that tillage. Moldboard plow especially, we don't need to see that on our soils like we have in the past. We've got better crops that can handle these higher residue conditions, and we can slow down a little bit there, keep our soil here in Stearns County where it needs to be, and we can sustain our farms a lot better.
Okay.
And hey, if any listeners are going to be down at Marty at 5 o'clock, we're going to be cleaning up the highway down there, the road that runs east and west out of Marty, Pearl Lake Lodge. We're going to be taking care of that at 5 o'clock today. We got a 2-mile stretch. NRCS, SWCD staff are going to be down there volunteering, cleaning up the highway. And if you just want to swing by and say hello, honk your horn, and we'll be picking up trash.
You're going to wear orange so people don't...
Yes, we actually swung by the Stearns County Highway Department this morning, got some orange trash bags and some orange safety vests. They are a little small, kind of makes me look like a fat guy in a little suit, but...
I was thinking a pumpkin with a I just want to throw out a plug one more time for USDA jobs.gov for positions, and this maybe not for all of the farmers in the area, but if you have sons and daughters that are interested in the farming, the farming,
ag community.
There you go, ag community and farming operations. It might be a really good opportunity for them to get a nice job right out of college. So if they're interested, give me a holler. We can make something happen for them.
I'm just going to say that folks that have the ag background that came from a farm that work for NRCS or SWCDs, they just really rise to the top. They really understand farming and some of the battles and challenges of farmers have out there. And so if you got any sons or daughters that are interested, I just want to follow that up with Chris. Yep. We don't have any openings right now, but I receive emails from the state. There's plenty of openings out there. I think this is a great opportunity for kids interested in conservation and agriculture, working at a soil water conservation district, a watershed district, NRCS. There's just a lot of opportunity out there, and having that ag background just really provides value to that resume.
Dennis Fuchs, SWCD, Chris Hogge, NRCS. Chris and Dennis, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Brad.
Thanks.